Let me sit with you for a moment. Just us. No noise, no judgment, no rush. I want you to take a slow breath and let the world quiet down around you. Because what we are about to talk about has touched too many good people who never deserved the hurt that followed. Romance scams on dating sites, a threat that grows in silence, a threat that feeds on loneliness,
I've lived a long
kindness, and the
life,
hope
and
we all carry for connection. And I want you to hear this the way I mean it. You are not foolish for wanting companionship. You are human, and you deserve safety in that search. Let me tell you about Harold, 78 years old, a widower who still made coffee for two every morning because after 49 years of marriage, old habits soften the empty spaces. His daughter finally encouraged him to try an online dating site. Nothing fancy, just a simple profile with a warm smile and the words, "Looking for someone to talk to." Within 3 days, he received a message from a woman calling herself Lila. She said she was 58, a retired nurse traveling overseas to help her sister through a medical emergency. She said she admired Harold's kindness. She said she felt something she hadn't felt in years, and Harold, well, he felt seen again. For weeks, they wrote every night. She called him my dear man. She told him she had never opened up to anyone so quickly. And he felt proud of that. He felt chosen, he felt wanted. But there was something underneath it that he couldn't quite name. A quickness, a closeness that felt too sudden. And yet, he didn't know how to question it without sounding ungrateful for the attention he had long missed. This is where confusion quietly becomes vulnerability. Fake online profiles are not just pictures and pretend names. They are crafted to feel safe, trustworthy, familiar. Scammers choose photos of people who look gentle. They pick professions like nurses, teachers, engineers. They share stories that invite your empathy before your caution can catch up. And they rush. They always rush. They try to bond before you have time to step back and see the full picture. Let me tell you the truth. Real connection takes time, but manipulation moves fast. This is what no one explains. These scammers are trained in emotional reading. They study what you respond to. They learn your losses. They mirror your hopes. And then, once they feel they have earned your trust, the stories begin to shift. Just a little at first. A delayed flight, a stolen wallet, a sudden medical emergency, a business deal frozen in another country, each story ending with the same quiet pressure. I just need a little help. That is how they test the door. Harold's moment came on a gray Wednesday morning. Lila wrote that her sister had taken a turn for the worse and the hospital overseas would not treat her until a deposit was paid. She said she was panicking. She said she did not know who else to turn to. She said Harold was the only one she trusted. And Harold, with a heart too big for his own protection, wire her $1,200 without telling a soul. You might read that and think you would never do the same. But let me tell you something. I have learned after years of sitting across the table from seniors carrying shame they never earned. When someone makes you feel emotionally responsible for their well-being, the line between kindness and danger becomes thin. And when they phrase the request as if you are their last hope, it becomes even thinner. Here's what they do not tell you. Scammers rarely ask for everything at once. They start with amounts that feel manageable. They speak with gratitude. They promise repayment. They say this will never happen again, until it does. And each time, the story becomes heavier, more urgent, more tangled in your emotions. They count on your heart moving faster than your logic. They count on your desire to help someone you care for. They count on your dignity working against your own safety. And it breaks my heart to say how many seniors believe the lie that needing companionship makes them weak. It does not. The weakness belongs to the people who exploit that desire. Let me show you the stories they use because knowing them is one of the strongest protections you can give yourself. They talk about being stationed overseas. They talk about business funds being held in customs. They talk about sick relatives or sudden accidents. They talk about visas, travel restrictions, locked bank accounts, and emergency surgeries. They tell you they tried everything else. They make you feel chosen to rescue them. They make your generosity feel like the glue holding their world together. But here's the legal and practical truth in plain language. Anyone who has not met you in person, anyone who cannot video chat without strange excuses, anyone who asks for money through wire transfer, gift cards, cryptocurrency, or prepaid debit cards is not asking for help. They are committing a crime. They are exploiting trust. They are using emotional pressure as a weapon. The law calls this fraud. And fraud does not become less illegal simply because it wears the mask of romance. Let me say something to you with steady, unwavering clarity. You are not wrong for wanting connection. You are not foolish for believing someone cared for you. You are not to blame for trusting a story crafted to disarm you. The failure is not yours. The failure belongs to the system that does not warn you loudly enough. The failure belongs to the predators who study loneliness the way a thief studies a lock. And the law was built to protect you, even when no one takes the time to tell you that. You are allowed to step back from anyone who pressures you. You are allowed to ask for proof before offering help. You are allowed to say, "I need time." You are allowed to stop responding. You are allowed to report what happened without shame. You are allowed to protect your heart and your savings in the same breath. Let me tell you what emotional manipulation looks like when you strip away the romance. It looks like sudden affection that feels too intense for the time you have known each other. It looks like someone getting offended when you ask normal questions. It looks like guilt messages arriving late at night when you are tired and more vulnerable. It looks like repeated stories that shift slightly each time, hoping you will not notice. It looks like praising your kindness right before asking for help. It looks like disappearing the moment you draw a boundary. And here is where fear meets the law. If you have already sent money, you are not powerless. You can contact your bank and request a reversal if it was recent. You can file a report with the Federal Trade Commission and your local police. You can document every message, every transfer, every request. You can block the scammer without offering an explanation. The law does not require you to confront them. The law does not expect you to solve the crime. The law simply gives you the right to protect yourself, and you have every right to use that protection. I want you to hear this with your whole heart. The shame you feel does not belong to you. The moment you believe someone cared for you was not a mistake. It was a moment of trust. And trust is not a flaw. Trust is a sign of your humanity. It is the predator who should feel shame, not you. Harold did not find out that Lila was a scammer until his daughter saw the wire transfer on his bank statement. He cried at that kitchen table because he felt embarrassed. But I told him the same thing I am telling you. Predators thrive in silence, but you are allowed to speak. You are allowed to ask for help. You are allowed to reclaim your dignity. When we filed the report, Harold said something I will never forget. "I just wanted someone to talk to." And I told him there is nothing wrong with that. Wanting companionship does not make you naive. It makes you alive. You deserve relationships that are real, slow, steady, and grounded in truth. Not the kind that twist your kindness into currency. Not the kind that turn your loneliness into a ladder for someone else to climb into your bank account. Now let me offer you reassurance. You still have control. You still have rights. You still have choices. And the law stands with you more than you know. If someone online pressures you for money, you can stop the conversation instantly. If someone invents emergencies, you can refuse to participate. If someone threatens to disappear when you say no, you can let them go without a second thought. Real love does not punish boundaries. Real companionship does not request payment. If any part of this speaks to your experience, I want you to breathe gently and remind yourself that you are not alone. I have seen these scams too many times. I have walked too many seniors through the process of healing from them. And I have watched them regain their strength, their clarity, their peace. And that is why I want to leave you with this gentle call to action. If this helped you, share it with someone you love. You never know whose heart feels vulnerable tonight. You never know who is carrying a secret fear they are too embarrassed to name. Stay with me, because your wisdom may protect someone else from harm. And if you have a story to tell, tell it. Not for the sake of revisiting the pain, but because your courage may be the lantern someone else needs in the dark. You deserve safety, you deserve honesty, you deserve connection that honors who you are, and I promise you this, the law was built to protect you, even when the world tries to convince you otherwise.